Hello, my friends. I'm Clover, and this is Genuinely Approachable Sudoku, and today we are solving Emerald Isle by Philip Newman. This is a German whisper Sudoku. So we have standard Sudoku rules replacing the digits 1 through 9, once each in each row, each column, and each outlined 3x3 region. And then we also have these very elegantly arranged green German whisper lines in the grid. And along each of these lines, digits that are directly connected to each other on the line have to have a difference of 5 or more. So you could put like a 1 next to a 7 because those have a difference of 6 between them. But we couldn't put a 1 next to a 3 because those only have a difference of 2. I have been warned that this one was found to be a little bit trickier than usual by the solvers today. This was a little bit of a challenging one. I found this a little bit challenging when I was trying it out before this video too. So we're gonna take it step by step. We're gonna get through it together, but don't beat yourself up if this one is a little bit more of a challenge than you're used to from Gas. Sometimes we have a little bit of a spicy one, and that's fine. The other thing to note, and this is something I say in every German Whisper Sudoku that we solve on this channel, is that the key for German whispers often is the fact that in Sudoku, if 2 digits have to have a difference of greater than 5, or at least 5, that means one of them has to be high and the other one has to be low. And that implies that along one of these green lines, the digits will always alternate between high, low, high, low, high, low, and so on, with the low digits being 1, 2, 3, 4, and the high digits being 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's going to be very powerful in this puzzle because once we place a single high or low digit, we're going to be able to identify all of the other positions on the line that have to have high or have to have low digits. And in fact, that's the first thing I'm going to do with this puzzle, because if you look at the 2's up here, 2 can't go in those cells in region 2. And there's also a 2 right here, so 2 can't go there. So that's going to be a 2. And we're going to have the symmetrical deduction down at the bottom. 8 can't go in those cells, so that's going to be an 8. So now we know that our low digits have to be in the alternating cells here. And we can make some quick eliminations just to keep things tidy based on what is already seen. And then these are going to have to be our high digits, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same deal, we're just going to make some little eliminations to kind of tidy things up. That tells us that these digits are all going to be high. Those can't be 8s, that can't be a 6, this also can't be a 6 because 6 can't go next to 2, that would only be a difference of 4, which is not valid here. And this can't be a 6 either. And I think that's all we get there right now. And here, these have to be low digits, so those are from 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's not a 2 or a 4. Nope, that's also not an 8 symmetrically. That's not a 2, those aren't 4s. And there we go. Okay, 5 can never go on a German Whispers line, because it doesn't have a difference of 5 or more with any other digit. So because there's only one cell remaining here that is not on a line, that's gonna be the location of our 5 in this column. And these guys are going to be 1, 3, 7, and 9. Now, I believe the next thing I did while I was solving this, and I'm not sure if this is necessarily the most efficient way to approach it, but I looked at 4s and 6s in these corner regions. So 4 is ruled out of these cells by the 4 that I have highlighted right here. 4 also can't go here or here, because those 2 cells are surrounded by other cells that they're connected to that see each other. And 4 can only ever go next to a 9, so if 4 was in one of those cells, 4 would have to be between 2 9s, so we'd have 2 9s in the same region. So 4 is going to, in fact, be in one of those cells, and that means 4 is going to live up here. 4 also can't go in these cells, same reasons, and there's also a 4 right here, so 4 has to go there. So that's going to place a 4 right here. Now we're going to get something similar on 6s. We have 6s here and here. 6 is going to go in one of those cells. 6 can't go in any of these cells because we have 6s there and there, so that's going to be a 6. Therefore, there's going to be a 6 in one of these, and there is going to be a 6 in one of these, and there's going to be a 6 up here somewhere. And this 6 rules out a 6 from there, and we get a 6 there. Okay, that was the next move that I made while I was initially solving this. And that can't be an 8 because, in fact, it sees an 8. So these are going to be 1, 3, 5, and 6. We can't have a 5 on the line. These are going to be 4, 5, 7, and 9, and we can't have a 5 on the line here. We get some little eliminations here. This can't be a 3, because if it was a 3, there wouldn't be any digit that was 5 or more away from it. And similarly, this can't be a 7, because that would break this connection here. But I'm trying to recall what my next move was here, because there was definitely something very clever going on. And I'm actually going to pause for a moment and see if I can remember exactly what it was. Okay, yeah, I was being a little bit foolish here. So the only position for 2 in this region is right there, and the only position for 8 in region 4 is going to be right there, and that's going to give us an 8 here. And it will also give us a 2 right here. That tells us that 2 has to be in one of those cells, and 8 has to be in one of those cells. Now, these cells are going to contain the remaining digits, which are 2, 5, 7, and 9. And that can't be a 2 or a 5, because it sees a 2, and 5 can't go on the line. So that gives us a 7-9 pair in this region. We're going to do the symmetrical deduction first before we use this. So here we need 1, 3, 5, and 8. Can't be a 5 or an 8, so this is a 1, 3 pair in the region. So now we know where our highs and lows are on the central shape. So this is going to be low, that's going to be high, that's going to be high, that's going to be low. This is going to be high, this is going to be low, and because we knew 2 had to be in one of those 2 cells, it must be there. That'll be high, this is going to be low, high, low, high, low, so 6 has to go in has to go right there, actually, and that's a 5. High, low, high, which makes that an 8 for similar reasoning as below, low, and high. Okay. So now the 5 is ruled out from there, so that's going to be a 5, and that will be my 4, which rules 4 out of that cell. I have this 7-9 pair here, so now I need 1, 3, 4, and 5 to finish off the row. This one can't be a 5, so that's going to be my 5. And then these are going to be 1 and 3, which gives me a 1, 3 pair here and places the 5 there. Now, here I need a 5, 7, and 9 in the row. The 2 resolves that into a 5. So now I know 5 can only go there, so that's not a 5. That makes this a 6. 6 has to be surrounded by 1, so that's now a 3. 7 can't go next to 3 because that's only a difference of 4, so that's going to be a 9 and a 7. And a 5 and a 7. A 3 and a 5. Well, not a 5. A 3 and a 6, I believe. And a 3 can't go next to 7, so that's going to be a 9. Our last 2 digits in that region are filled in. And we should be able to fill out pretty much the entire rest of the grid via a combination of Sudoku and recognizing that 7 and 3 can never go directly next to each other. Okay, and that should be just about it. That's a 4, has to be surrounded by 9s. That's also a useful observation. 3 and 9 there. 7, 9, and let's finish up the grid with a 1 and a 7. And that is how you solve Philip Newman's lovely but quite challenging Emerald Island German Whisper Sudoku. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. The link to check it out yourself is in the description of this video. And I will see you again in 3 days.